Well, hello there, everyone. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're on the world. I'm Peel Sturt, Dragon King Saga, his channel. Back this morning for me in Canada. It's a very cold, windy, blustery, snowy day where I'm in Canada. Clear that winter is not yet ready to relinquish its grip. In any case, what better time to do one of the spontaneous live video reviews, and also very apropos because I'm here to talk about Mark Lawrence's Book of the Ice series. So cue the chills. That's how I feel today, looking outside. I'm here in my office just looking at these snow-covered trees, and very fitting for the setting of this amazing series. So no secrets here. I'm a huge Mark Lawrence fan. He's one of my favorite authors. He is an exceptional author, and I always wonder how many jokes he's had to endure about being a rocket scientist, because he's actually a rocket scientist, or has been by trade. More importantly, he is, again, an outstanding author and simply a wonderful, wonderful human being. I had the privilege of meeting him in person. I said this on a few videos that, you talk about never meet your heroes, but it was certainly very much an amazing experience to meet Mark, one of the writers I look up to. He's just an amazing person. And I think for those of you who follow him or know him, especially the kind of extremely dead father he is, I mean, he's just an exemplary person. And of course, an amazing author and one of my faves. So just a wonderful human. And it was a real privilege to meet her in person at Glasgow Worldcon in Scotland 2 years back now. So in any case, this series, Book of the Ice, is my fourth Mark Lawrence series. Still need to catch up. He writes pretty fast, and he's got another couple series on the go now. One, I think he's got one going, another one that I have not read yet. I believe that's the Library Trilogy, and now he's got this new series. But in any case, I do plan to catch up and read everything that Mark Lawrence writes. As I said, he's one of my favorites. So I've read the Broken Earth Trilogy, the Red Queen's War, the Book of the Ancestor, and now I've finally, long overdue, completed the Book of Ice. So I think, and there is Zero Zaku 1468. Hey, how you doing? Thanks so much for coming out. Been wondering how this trilogy is. He says, well, I'm going to tell you, Zero Zaku 1468, that I think this is absolutely fabulous. So I hope you do check it out. Not sure how much of Mark Lawrence you've read yourself, if any, but definitely think this is worth your time. So quickly, why did I love this series? I think one of the reasons is because, and those of you who know me, I do, having likable protagonists is not the preference. As a matter of fact, I do prefer, I think, those morally gray, morally ambiguous, even downright sometimes dastardly main characters. But this is not that. The main character is very likable, very altruistic, kind, brave, noble. She's a really good person in all facets. Frankly, this is the first time that I've read a Mark Lawrence series, the four series that I've read, where the main character is just straight up good. And I thought about that, and but at the same time, yeah, it was totally enjoyable. And of course, there's certainly enough morally ambiguous and perhaps more towards the evil side characters that in this series that, and if you like those type of characters that are a bit more complex and gray, and or not so nice, you'll to provide a foil for the main character, you'll enjoy this, because there's plenty of those in here to get into. So the trilogy consists of The Girl in the Stars, which is what I have here, and The Girl in the Mountain. That's book 2. And then finally we have The Girl and the Moon. That is book 3. So I spoke about the main character, and that really is the center of the story, the focal point, the main character's journey. The main character, as I said, who's quite noble and a good person, is a young person named Yaz. She is a member of this tribe, and these tribes are ice dwellers. So in her society, um, because of the short, tough, brutal nature of their existence, it's tough to survive on the ice, and anyone who has any kind of impairment, physical impairment or deformity, etc., they are essentially discarded and it's almost like a summary execution. They're banished. They're they disappear beneath. Just think of a big hole in the ice. It's a pit that they're thrown into. That's that's pretty brutal, as I said. Yaz finds herself in a situation where she does go under the ice through this pit, but the ice below the ice, a whole other world exists. That's what she discovers, and this world is this subterranean world is populated by other people. I'm not going to get into too much about what's down there, nor not to spoil it. But let's put it this way: it's equally, if not more, brutal than where Yaz comes from, and there's all kinds of terrors and threats and dangers, and it's a real fight for survival. Um, Part of what makes this book so awesome is the concept of the world building, in that um, the planet that Yaz inhabits is dying, and there's only this narrow strip of land. It's called the corridor, where it's lush and green, and it remains habitable. And there's this artificial moon that keeps it going. There's definitely a science fiction element here. In terms of what happens with Yaz, just in general, what I'll talk about, again, trying not to spoil it, is that she goes on this journey with companions through towards this corridor that would be the green space through this frozen wasteland, right? And at the same time, she's dealing with all these mysteries and enemies and making friends and potentially trying to figure out who might betray her and her friends, etc. So a lot of political conflict and jockeying. There's characters who are uber ambitious and they have their own agenda. So yeah, really, really, really interesting and very stimulating, engaging plot there. One of the biggest reasons why I love this series is that it is tied into another specific series that Mark has written. So I'm not going to tell you which one, again, not to spoil it, but it gives you a lot of overall context if you've read both of these series in terms of the magic and the lore and everything else that's going on. And what's incredible, really incredible about this particular series is that the other series I'm speaking of and this one, timelines converge and characters converge. So it's just some amazing tidbits and Easter eggs there that I absolutely loved. You can read this trilogy on its own, even though it's very much connected and embedded with other books from Mark Lawrence. And what's really awesome in this is that the finale in this final book, it really gives you a really satisfying conclusion that pulls on all these threads from the other series and wraps them up together really nicely. So if you're already a fan of Mark Lawrence and you've read his other series, including the one I'm talking about, and again, I'm not trying to spoil or give it away, but go read all of his books. It's a worthy investment, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you'll see locations from the other series, etc., and it's just amazing. Easter eggs, etc. As I said, it's just awesome. So again, there's 3 books in the trilogy. This is the 3rd book, Girl in the Moon, that was published in 2022. Girl in the Mountain was published in 2021, and Girl in the Stars, the 1st book, was in 2020. So again, through this series, you go through this underground world, and the characters have to cope going through the frozen wasteland. In the Girl in the Mountain, for example, they have to climb this rock, and you see this huge desolate expanse of ice, and then finally in the last book is when you see the almost like a crossover between that and other series I'm talking about. So really fabulous stuff. Great characters, fantastic action, really well done. This is, I was mentioning, I've been talking about reading the series on social media, and right now my favorite series from Mark Lawrence is The Red Queen's War, and I thought it was just almost like the perfect series. But this series really came close for me to that. So, and again, of course, Mark Lawrence is one of my favorite authors. I love everything he writes. However, if I had to rank series, I would say definitely that The Red Queen's War was number 1. However, after reading this, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. But I really had a great time with this. I totally enjoyed it. Highly recommended. If you like, especially if you read Mark Lawrence again, and you like, to have that connectivity between parts of the world in different series, and that you like to see that explored, definitely something that you're going to want to enjoy. So, well, anyways, that's my quick overview of the book of The Ice. I've now finished all 3 books. It was just a great experience. I plan to move on and read some more Mark Lawrence, of course, as soon as I can, TBR dependent, but definitely, as I said, I'll be reading everything he likes. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you, ZeroZaku1468, for coming out, and for this short, spontaneous video review of the Book of the Ice. Again, Mark Lawrence's Book of the Ice. Check this out and read everything he writes. Brilliant author. Great mix of sci-fi / fantasy, and yeah, really good stuff. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Take care, and we will speak to you soon. Bye-bye now.